Hey, Melanin fam, it's your girl Shelby,
And I'm Erica.
and welcome to another season of All Things Melanin City.
Yay.
Today, we're talking about who you are outside of your title. So, I don't know about you, friend, but I'm one of those people who actually enjoys working my 9 to 5. Maybe unpopular opinion. But have you noticed that there are some people who make their whole job or where they work their whole like persona? Like
Yes.
that's just who they are.
Yes.
Inside of work, outside of work, at church, at the family picnic, at night, at day,
Yes.
all over.
Yes.
So why do you think so many people make their title their identity?
I don't know why. I think that some people may attach their validation or their worth to their title. So
Yeah.
for example, this is one question I really hate, and you already know this. When I'm out at like an event or something and people ask, so what do you do? And it's
Oh
like, are you really
yeah.
trying to get to know me, or you just want to know like what my job is, what my career is, so you can like place me in this
Yeah.
hierarchy of like, well, should I schmooze and talk to her or not? Like, is she
Right.
the janitor or is she the CEO? Like, you trying to gauge like my
Right.
worth in society or something. Like, that's how I think about it. Some people may just be asking just to say
Yeah.
something, but to me, I think a lot of people attach their validation to their job title, moving up in corporate. Like me, I'm not interested in moving up in corporate anymore. Like that used to be like my out of college dream, but now I'm
Hmm.
just like, no, I want to do my own thing. And so I think it's unhealthy when you don't have anything to say outside of your career. It's like
Yeah.
your whole identity. And we know the state of the world now where ain't nothing for sure or for
And I
certain.
mean nothing.
So it's like if it like what COVID should have taught us
Yeah.
is like everybody had to sit down, whether you was the billionaire or you was the
Yeah.
homeless person on the street. Everybody needed to be quiet. So to me, it's just like if you are attaching your job, what happens when you lose that job? If you're
Right.
attaching that title. So I just think that people do it for validation reasons. People feel like they are accomplishing stuff when they are this whatever title. But if you
Hmm.
don't have a life outside of that or an
Right.
identity outside of that, you are always like, what's the word when you're just like, um, you would be a victim to like what happens if you lose it. So it's
Yeah.
like, who are you if you lose everything? Really?
Right. I agree with you, friend. And I think in addition to that, I think that so many times that like like in order to reach your goal, like if you do want to move up in a corporate job or you do want to get a specific position or you want to get better, I think that sometimes in addition to what you're saying, people tend to fixate on that so hard and they go hard on that so much and then they just allow it to consume themselves. And so I think that like when you allow work to consume you,
Mhm.
and that's all you do, that's all you think about. Like if you eat, drink, and sleep what you do and how to move up in the corporate ladder or whatever you want to do. And disclaimer, I do want to move up the corporate ladder to a certain extent, but I don't want to do it at the expense of it becoming my personality. The minute that it becomes my personality is the minute that I don't want it. Because I do think that you can do both, but I think that you have to put it on yourself to have a boundary. So I think that like when you just allow work to consume you, then that is how you can make it your identity. I think it's really, really easy to do that in today's company culture. But to your point, I think that when COVID came, that it really switched the way that I think about work and
Mhm.
how I move in corporate America.
Mhm.
As somebody who has been laid off before, really because of the pandemic and really because of the way of the world, I really have a different perspective. I feel like earlier in my career, I let work consume me and it became my identity. Also, like Erica, I hate when people ask me what I do because in my head, you're trying to figure out where I fit in the food chain per se, and you're trying to associate how much respect you should put on my name, but you
Mhm.
got to put the respect on my name
Period.
regardless. And you always, and side note, I feel like you always have to be kind to people because you don't know where they're going to end up and you
Yes.
don't know where they're going to land. So that
Mhm.
person that you were mean and negative and nasty to could be the same person that could get you into a job or get you into a new opportunity. So always be kind to people.
Yeah.
And so I just think to your point, I rambled like I always do. I just think you have to be really, really careful of like not allowing your job and your identity to consume you. And I think the best way to do that, friend, is to set boundaries. Like I'm
Yes.
one of those people from edit from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. I'll give you all I got. But before that and after that, I disassociate with work. I
Mm-hmm.
don't answer emails. I don't answer Slack. I actually turn all of my notifications off. Like I go make sure that I do something that lets my body know that we're disassociating and we're moving into like
Yes.
shelby time or family time or friend time. I think that you have to put those boundaries in place because, as Erica said a little bit earlier, like the what if the pandemic and the way of the world hasn't taught us anything, it's that like in essence sometimes you're just a number to people and
Mm-hmm.
they can let you go tomorrow even after you had given your all to a company. So I
Yes.
think that you obviously should show up and do your best, but I think it's a really dangerous game when you allow it to just absorb you. You become your identity. I don't think that's healthy. You know
No.
what I mean?
Mm-mm.
So speaking of not healthy, friend, and setting boundaries, I think one of the ways to set boundaries or to like not make your job your identity is to like do stuff outside of work. So what are
Mm-hmm.
things that bring you joy, things that you like to do to just, do your shit to clock in.
Yeah, yeah, because like you said, like the work hours that you work is that's the only time that you are giving to them, and so after that, some days I don't have anything to give outside of it. It's just
Right.
sometimes, and whether that's like just recognizing, you made a good point about recognizing what your body is telling you. Like I
Right.
literally will take my PTO. That is a great tip. Take your
And take it
PTO
off and take it off.
because if your body is signaling like I just can't do it today, it doesn't even have to be a reason. Just
Right.
I need a mental health day, like or if whatever it is, just like I can't do it today. I'm
Right.
taking my PTO. And there are people that I personally know that do not take their time off. But even with taking that time off, I struggle with this feeling like I have to be doing something on my time off. So I'm
Hmm.
like, maybe my joy one day is just doing absolutely nothing,
Yes, I
and
love doing
I'm
nothing.
just laying there just stiff the whole day. Like
Not still.
that might be my joy. I don't have to answer no emails, answer
Right.
no calls, pay no bills, nothing. I'm just existing today. And then some days it's like what I enjoy outside is going to the gym.
Yeah.
I even make time during my lunch hour because I live close enough to my gym to go and just get a 45-minute workout in and then come back, and it does help the mood of my day most of the time.
Hmm.
Or another thing is like outside of my job, I have a 5 to 9, as they would say, and so I work on that. And then obviously all things melanin, doing stuff for the things that I feel like I have a gift in and that
Hmm.
I actually enjoy doing. And so I feel like if you don't have anything outside of that, and people always asking you what do you do, like to me, I've literally said this answer when someone asked me what do you do, I was like, I do my best.
She
Because
says
that's
that
all
all
you
the
can
time.
all you can do is your best. So that's what would bring me joy. What about you? What brings you joy outside of your career?
Yeah, I think a lot of things bring me joy, and I feel like I'm in a season of like finding my joy again and trying to like do things that bring me joy because I'm one of those people like I feel like at this point in my life I've learned that like sometimes you have to work at joy, you have to work at your happiness, and I'm one of those people that I don't feel like anybody is responsible for that. I feel like you're responsible for that.
Yeah.
So I think lately, really just being intentional about being present with family and friends, like just spending quality time with people that I love and that I trust. Because like at the end of the day, like we don't have as much time as we think we have.
Mm-hmm.
So being with people that I know love me, encourage me, and have my back, that brings me joy. Um, and then also just planning things like concerts and events
Mm-hmm.
and trying something new, traveling, trying new restaurants. Also like Erica, sometimes I just like to rot and to lay in bed and to watch Netflix and Hulu and do nothing. And just to piggyback off your PTO comment, I think that sometimes people be like, oh, other people aren't taking PTO, or oh, I can't afford to take PTO. Like either take the PTO or your body's gonna shut down and you're gonna have to take it anyway. There is absolutely nothing wrong with like taking a day to do nothing. Like I think a lot of times we take PTO because we have to do something or we have to go somewhere, but you can also take PTO and do nothing. And I think that sometimes there is joy in doing nothing and just resting because as you as you age, your body cannot keep up as much. Like you have to rest or your body is gonna make or is gonna make you rest. So I just think that it's really important just for us to just find pockets of joy.
Yes, I love that, and it's and like you said at the very beginning is finding that joy is a great point, because
Yeah,
sometimes you ain't feeling it. And it's
girl.
like you gotta get back to it, because when life gets to life, and it's like I ain't happy about nothing. So finding it is the effort that you have to
Right.
do. So what's something people should be surprised to know or learn about you outside of your title?
That I just like random things.
I guess, yeah, whatever.
That I talk a lot, but I only talk a lot around people that I know. Other than that, I'm introverted, and you would think that I'm mute. Um, I love to write. I love to write. Um, I have like sticky notes everywhere, like in my journal, in my purse, in my notes phone. I love to write. I love to be creative. And I feel like I'm a really creative person. And Erica can tell you this. Like, if I tell, for instance, if I tell Erica something, I've already worked it out and planned it out in my mind, and she knows it. Um, and that I, what else? What else would be? I don't know if anybody would be surprised about anything else that I have to say. I think I'm gonna go with that. What about you?
I don't know. Like I am who I am. I would say I am not. I'm introverted until
Yeah.
you get
Until you're not.
to know me. Until you get to know me, and then because I think first impression that I've heard a lot is like she doesn't, like she's so quiet, like so people try to figure out like why is she so quiet, and it's really either me observing
Yeah.
the environment, but I don't thrive in like environments with a whole bunch of people in them. But if we're having a one-on-one conversation, you probably be like, oh, Erica's actually really cool. But like I realize that sometimes, especially when I have my RBF days, I'm not mean, y'all. Like I'm actually just sitting there minding my business, like very introverted until I'm comfortable around people. So I think that would be a surprise sometimes. Because have you ever walked in a place? This is so off topic, but I get this all the time. Why aren't you smiling? And it's like I'm literally just focused on
Like,
why
I
I'm
just
going in
got
this
here.
store. Like I'm not. If
Traffic
I
alert.
walked around with a plastered smile on my
I
face,
think you're crazy.
you'd probably think I'm a little crazy. But I
Yeah.
think people be surprised to know how actually laid back,
Yeah.
go with the flow type person. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't. I guess I don't know people that haven't met me that assume stuff, but whatever. I feel like I'm cool.
She
So,
cool people, y'all. I can vouch for it.
and then I'm also super, super creative, which I
Oh,
think
for
we've talked
sure.
about this before, especially on our podcast. But I love all things creativity. So,
Yeah.
especially graphic design, decorating, interior design. Um, I just love it. So I feel like that's my area of like my strongest gifts. So, um, the last thing, I guess we'll do a takeaway. So, what is your takeaway from today's topic?
So my takeaway from today's topic is that I think that you should show up at your job and do what you were supposed to do. I think that you should show up and give your best in your work hours. But I also think that outside of that, that you gotta leave work at work and find joy and contentment and happiness outside of that. Whether that is finding hobbies, spending time with friends, sleeping, or doing nothing. I just think that like you have to separate the two in order to just have like a more complete life. And for me, let me just explain it. Like, I just feel like for me, I've found a lot more happiness and contentment and joy when I compartmentalize a lot of things. Like at work, I'm at work and I'm on end. But when I'm not at work, I'm not thinking about work. I'm not doing like corporate work. Like I am out enjoying my life. And I feel like that has brought me a lot of joy and happiness and a lot more fullness to my life. What about you? What's your takeaway?
Yes. Back to your note before about finding the joy. Even if you feel like you don't have it, or finding the happiness, because I really feel like God gives us the joy, but at the same time, it's like really being intentional about what it actually brings you the most joy,
Mm-hmm.
and schedule that in. Like if you need to schedule it, like what
Right.
brings me the most joy, going to get a pedicure, like schedule that in, like so I would just say being intentional about where my joy is and doing that. Okay, that would be my takeaway.
I love that. Well, thank you for tuning into this week's episode and for a new season. And drop down below like what's something that brings you joy.
Yes. So like, share, subscribe, share with a friend. And we'll see you right here next time. Thanks for watching.